Well, Fighty McFighterson is a half ogre, so he's got to have the teeth like this, and usually bad posture. And I like to hit stuff. I'm not very smart because I just like to fight, and that's pretty much it. But you know what?
I'm Liz Christensen, the host of the Refuge LARP Salt Lake City Vodcast, and today I am joined by Jordan Brun, who is our local angry logistics guy, or the head of logistics, to talk about logistics things. Welcome, Jordan.
Hello.
What does that mean to be like logistics head? What is that even?
So logistics, root word logic, which at times it doesn't feel like that at all. But basically we are in charge of making sure that all of your paperwork is sound. That goes through the characters that you play, the tags that you have or acquire during an event, your build and experience that your character attains over time, and just the kind of mathematics side of it, which is kind of funky because I'm an art guy, so those two things usually don't mesh. But logistics is responsible for a lot of the behind the scenes prep that comes into play before an event to make sure that the event runs smoothly. Our job is mainly between events rather than during the event. During the event, logistics can play or they can NPC, they can do whatever they want in that regard. But most of the lion's share of our work is done in between events, making things making sure that things are prepped and ready to go for you when you step into game. So we will have things prepared and organized for you guys at check-in. And our job mainly is to make sure that when players come in for check-in, all of their stuff is ready to go. So they get a packet from us and they have their character sheet. They have the stuff that they've made with their various craftsman skills or metrics, like did I get those 30 arrows that I said that I was going to make, and do I have a tag for those available? And oh, I had just purchased craftsman other hunter, and I wanted to make sure that I got the necessary silver pieces for the event. That is what we do, basically, is making sure that your characters are sound before you come into game. Afterwards, that's your responsibility.
Give me a quick definition, if I had never played LARP before, of like what's a character sheet and what's a tag? What are they for?
Okay, so a lot of characters have expendable skills, whether that is you are a spellcaster and you have a certain number of spells per day, whether you are an alchemist and you create a certain number of elixirs, or whether you are a ritual caster and you have a certain amount of rituals that you can cast, or high magic that you spend your build upon. With that, basically, your character sheet is what gives you that information that you can check off. We are an honor-based game, so that sheet is a way for you to kind of say, oh yes, this is what I've done so far, this is what I haven't. And periodically through the events, you're expected to update your character sheets, like after big combats or downtime or something like that, to say, oh yeah, that's right, I healed Idiot the Fighter for 30 points using these 2 spells, so I need to check those off from my list for today. We call those battle boards, basically. And you have these on your character sheet so that you understand what you've used, and it keeps you honest throughout the experience, so to make sure that you're effectively using your skills during that time, but also so that you remember what the heck you've purchased, especially with some people that have been playing for a while. They're like, oh, I didn't use my knockout blows from behind. I didn't use my my sleep strikes. I have up until 6 p.m. when we rememorize to use those. I got to use that in the next combat. Otherwise, it's wasted build. So basically with that, your character sheet gives you that opportunity to keep track of that aspect during game to make it easier for everybody, so you're not making stuff up.
What about tags?
So tags are personal belongings. Now, with that, in game, there are certain things that are tagged and there are certain things that are not. You might be carrying a physical representation of a weapon, and like a sword or an axe, say, but to use that, you need to have a tag. Now, that being said, you should have that tag on that physical representation so that you're not carrying in your pouch 40 different swords that you can just whip out at a time. Being, you should probably have that physical representation on your person. The best players, in my opinion, carry weapons that have the tags upon them, so that if you see a guy that's weighed down with a two-hander, a crossbow, 2 long swords, and 3 daggers, that they're all in his person. Whereas if you, like, let's say, gently abuse someone and then rob them afterwards, and you find all of these tags on their person, they weren't really carrying this stuff. So you want to have these tags represent, from logistics, the treasure that your character has accumulated over time. Now, that being said, having the physical representation of these items really helps, because if you're going to drink a potion, it's a heck of a lot more interesting if you've got a vial with the tag attached to it, rather than I take the tag and you put it in your mouth. It's not as interesting by comparison. Kind of takes people out of the game. So logistics provides the tags for those characters for the things that they make, and we also provide tags for what is known as treasure policy. The way it breaks down is however many people sign up for an event, and their amount of build determines how much treasure goes out for the event. So if we have those 2 things times how many game days that we have, so a game day is different than necessary, so like a full weekend would be 2 game days. We do that treasure policy twice and put it into a big pile and give it to the NPCs and say, this is the treasure that you're going to give out over the course of the event. And logistics communicates with plots to find out what is appropriate. So if you have, say, undead throughout the event, and all of those undead are ghasts and wights and different creatures that are not very physical, they're probably not going to be carrying a lot of gems. They're not going to be carrying a lot of, say, weapons or armor or anything like that, because they can't physically hold on to them. It doesn't make sense. So we work with plot to try to have the policy, the treasure policy, make sense for the event. If you go into, say, a dwarven kingdom during the event, you're going to find some high quality weapons, high quality armor, that kind of thing. You probably won't find a lot of celestial ritual scrolls hanging out. So we try to come up with an easy kind of back and forth with them to have the treasure policy make sense for the plot line, and vice versa.
That makes a lot of sense. You have a nickname that I think you gave yourself.
I gave it to myself, we'll be honest, yeah.
So the local angry logistics guy.
Yes, that's my take on the old adage of Peter Parker calling himself the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So the angry local logistics guy is the title that I incorporated, because I tend to be kind of a nice guy. I try to be, but sometimes during logistics, there's so many things going on, especially right before an event. And you must understand as players that that experience is the culmination of all of this work leading up to an event. And invariably, the time right before the event, I am running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get everything done and put out numerous fires. That is not who I am on a daily basis, but the stress of the position during that time frame may make my patience a little bit less. So I incorporated that name as an homage to Spider-Man, but also as a kind of warning for people to please get in contact with me ahead of time so I can put out your fires well before the beginning of the event, because usually I play these events. I used to run an alternative plot, but now for Refuge, I'm going back to playing, and I want to get in costume and I want to start playing. But so if you come in late, or, you know, oh, I forgot to pre-register for the event, can you pull all of this 200 production levels worth of stuff? No, I can't. You got to give me a little bit of time on this. So there might be a little bit of frustration that goes along with it.
So there really are two like phases, and will you kind of categorize them for me as if you're teaching me as a new PC what I need to do with logistics before the event and what I need to do with logistics at check-in?
Okay, so basically before an event, you want to have your character pre-generated. That is before everything else. When you're a brand new character coming in, you do not want to come in to the game without any plan whatsoever of what you're going to create. It's kind of scary for us when people go in, oh, I've never been on the database or anything. And then we have to get the internet connection set up and everything like that on a remote site. So the first thing that you want to do before anything else, have a good character concept, go into the database for Refuge, create yourself a character, get that taken care of. But definitely, if you have any changes or if you have any questions, contact logistics beforehand. Let us know you're having trouble with your character, you need to update, you're not sure. I will set up a virtual meeting with you and I will talk you through it. We'll get you situated. That'll be fine. Once that's done, once that character is done, you're going to do what is known as pre-registering. And basically what that is you go in to the Refuge database, and I'm going to pull that up here for you real quick so everybody can see what's going on. I'm going to pull up free play.
And free play is different from the database because this is like
yes.
I'm not committed to anything I create in free play, right?
Exactly. So I'm going to pull this up real quick, mainly because I want to make sure to have this readily accessible for your viewers, and I'm going to share my screen on this. Are you seeing this currently?
Yes, I am.
All right, cool. So the free play mode, you're going to find right up here, it's freeplay-db period refugelarp period.org, and it will bring you up to the homepage, which looks like this. It will say that you have no points. Everybody doesn't have any points. This is kind of a lush kind of area. You want to go into characters over here and create a new one. Me personally, I was thinking about a new character or a new build for one of my characters. I was like, what if this character that I've already got is a different race? I want to try and play that out. Well, not everybody has that. If you want to create a new character, just go into new character and you can type a name. I'm going to go Fighty McFighterson. You might wonder what his class is. I'll tell you, it's going to be a fighter.
Shocking.
And then my home chapter, it really doesn't matter, but I'm going to make it Salt Lake because that's where we are. And then you can pick the different races that you want. Now with this, with the free play mode, you can wipe everything clean and start over again. But I think Fighty McFighterson sounds like a high ogre, so I'm going to incorporate that and set the species. And they're going to be a fighter. That's definitely going to happen. And now you can go into the database with your 25 XP and start picking out the different things. Now, Fighty McFighterson, surprisingly enough, they want to be a fighter and really be well at weapons. So they could go in with, say, a weapon skill like two-handed blunt. That sounds like an ogre ability. Not that I'm being racist or anything, or speciesist, I should say now, because they are species. And go in, and that, after buying two-handed blunt, that reduced 3 experience points. So now there are 22 remaining. And you can go in and buy the different skills that you want. You can also go in and see what would happen if you changed your class. Maybe Fighty McFighterson wants to be a spell sword instead of a fighter. You can change to the different ones and see what the experience point cost would be. Fighty McFighterson, if they were a scholar, that would be awesome. So I'm going to change them to a scholar. And basically it changes up the price total of the character. And then you know what you want to do. So we can go back into the regular database and sign in, and we can create that character directly from the free play. Once that's gone down, you will see the different, if I go in, I'm going to head that back to the database there.
db.refugelarp.org for the regular.
Yeah, so it's the same thing without the free play on it, free play dash. And then you can go into chapters and take a look at where your chapter, like Salt Lake per se, is holding an event. So we can go into events as well and see who's doing what when, so that you can travel to different events, you can go to different chapters. And right now, these are what's going on. In May 21st, Seattle is happening. We need to get our events on here. I'm going to get those up. That's something that I need to do later on, but that's my responsibility. You can go in and say, okay, I'm going to play this event on this date. If I go into Seattle, they will have a tab down here that says pre-registration is open, and you will be able to register for an event and get things going for making your character a part of that event. So you want to go into the events tab and look at that. It's a heck of a lot easier now than it was a few years ago, because a few years ago, logistics had to do everything on site. Now we have the database up, which makes it infinitely easier for players to tell us that they're going to be in an event, pre-register for it, and have everything ready so that when they walk in and they pay for the game, they will have everything ready already for them. We will have everything printed for them in regards to tags, character sheets, everything there. We will hand that to them and be able to answer any questions speedily rather than doing a really long line for check-in. That usually doesn't happen when people pre-register. It makes it a lot easier. And as logistics head, I am the person that people contact if they need to check in for an event and they're not sure how to do so. So if this video is not helping you guys and you need one-on-one time, you can contact me via our forums, via social media. You can contact me through there, or through our email, which is refugelarputah@gmail.com.
Cool, very cool. Let's talk about the tag transfer, because Refuge was born out of another game, and so all of our established player base is currently going through a transition.
Yes, yes. There's going to be a big shift in that regard. And so for this, what we've done is set up a week where the general manager, Katie Lewis-Corin, and myself are going to basically hang out and wait for people to bring us their tags. Now with that, the tag transfer, you can find that on the website here. Let me pull that up for you. And basically, this is a part of our forum post. And you will find the Refuge Tag Transfer Census schedule. That's what we're calling this. We're calling it the Tag Census. Our rules head, Marley, said census was a much better term than audit. I liked audit, but that's just me. And basically, you'll find this. This is the skeleton adjusting his tie is me on the forums. You can find me fairly easily. And basically what this says is that you're going to book an appointment to bring in all of your old tags from Refuge. You're going to basically bring them in physical format so we can double check. But before you come by, I'm looking for you to send us a list. And you're going to do that by sending it to this email, logistics.refugelarputah@gmail.com. You're going to use that to reserve a spot. And as you can see on here, we've got a lot of spots that are still open on the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and 9th. These are the dates that we're allowing for availability for our previous players. If for some reason that schedule doesn't work, please contact us at that email that I said earlier, and we will schedule a time for you at your convenience to make this a little bit easier. 48 hours before you bring those in, though, we need a list of all of the tags that you had from the previous LARP and send those to us. You send us that list, we check that list after what you physically bring us. And basically, we are going to have that list. We're going to go throughout the list. You show us that, and we're going to put a little R on those old tags. You can still use them and you can still take them with you to do that other LARP at your leisure. The little R lets us know that they have been counted. We take that list, and if that list is correct, that's great. We've got that, and we will have that list of items ready for you at the next event that you're going to be at, with full Refuge tags of all of the stuff that you need. If that list is incorrect, and you didn't bring those items, we're going to modify that list there. With that 48-hour email that you're sending us beforehand, there are some census questions as well that we would like you to answer that logistics is going to share with plot to kind of help service our player base a little bit more. So basically, these questions that are on the forum post will allow us to know what tags you would like to come into game, and will allow plot to know what types of encounters you would like to have to get tags that logistics set up. So these questions are set there. If you can answer us with complete sentences, that's my personal preference, just so I understand what you're trying to get across. It's a heck of a lot easier if I get a subject and I get a predicate and it's a complete thought. That's the teacher in me. So, but outside of that, the big thing that we need from our players is communication. If you need something, if there is a certain type of weapon that your character uses that you never see coming into game, and you don't have blacksmith as an ability and you can't make it, by gum, let us know and we'll throw it out there so that somebody will find it out in an adventure. It won't necessarily be you. You may need to trade for it, but those tags will go out. If you're realizing that, oh, you know what, I really wanted to be a different species and I didn't do the change on this, we need to get a change species ritual scroll out there. Then it's logistics' job to make that possibly come out in a later adventure. Basically tailoring the equipment and tags that go out to the player base and their interests, how they want to play the game.
Just a quick point of clarification, tag transfer is not about my coin transfer, right?
Actually, coin is a part of that. There will be new refuge coins going out. So you show us what you have physically in the old LARP's coin. You bring it, we count it, and you can walk out of there with those coins. That's fine. We will have new refuge coins that are being designed currently. As far as I understand, the design process is wrapping up, and they're going to have that. Logistics and Refuge Salt Lake will be purchasing a certain amount of coin to go out at these events. Other things that you'll find at a Refuge event that you may not in other LARPs is we as logistics are going to make a strong push to put out merchant items where characters with the merchant skill can evaluate things like gems, objects of art, that kind of thing, where you find them on the adventure and the merchant skill will be valuable. So your character who can evaluate items and whatnot will go, oh, this is worth that much. More of those will be going out during upcoming events. And we will also have production tags, which will basically reduce the cost of producing items like weaponsmithing and armor smithing, scroll making, that kind of thing. So you might find a tag that contains something along the lines of spell ink, and it may be worth the equivalency of 5 silver pieces of scroll making. And if you find somebody who can make scrolls, you can say, hey, I got this spell ink, and you use that and trade it for different amounts. It's logistics' job to make the immersion of tags, which is a rule-based system, a greater part of the role play experience. And those players that like to wheel and deal and get coin or get items and that kind of thing and trade, it's our job to give them the tags that will allow them to do that in game.
Very cool. Jordan, thank you so much for joining us today and explaining some of the logistics of logistics.
Yes, well, there's a lot that goes on, and if this sounds like something that you would like to be a part of, we could use some assistance, especially at the beginning of events. It makes it a heck of a lot easier if we get hands on deck, even if it's just something where you know how to create characters, and there are people coming into this first event who may be clueless about it, and you want to show them the database. We are happy to have you as a volunteer, and you can earn goblin stamps towards your characters every month. With that,
We don't call them goblins.
Oh, sorry, refuge
points and refuge points, right?
Yes. One thing as a caveat on that, I started LARPing in 1996, and I've played about, well, let's just say a bunch of games in that regard. So I apologize ahead of time if some of the terminology that I'm using is old, because I am old.
Yeah, but we would welcome volunteers with the check-in process and helping with logistics.
And you'll get the points that exist at the time that you are going to be playing that you can spend on the things of the game that you are currently playing in.
You will be rewarded for your help.
There will be a reward, and it won't be just a hearty handshake and some eye contact from me. So.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Thank you for watching, everybody. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. We have some really cool new series coming out in addition to more from the Vodcast, and you won't want to miss it. Thank you so much.